What's good with y'all, man? Appreciate y'all for coming back to the channel. Appreciate y'all for clicking on the video, man. Listen, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We do have a goal over here, and that goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Like I've told y'all before, I cannot do that without y'all. So y'all make sure to go ahead and run this video up with the likes and make sure to subscribe. Now, I got a hot video for y'all today. It's Gils Arena again. Now, like I told y'all last time, I love the NBA, so we're going to be talking about the NBA a lot over here. Now, today's conversation was very, very interesting. And it was interesting for a couple of reasons. So, firstly, we had the discussion on this show about what makes a leader on a basketball team, right? We're just talking about in NBA terms, what makes a leader. Now, Rashad Mccants, who I didn't agree with last video, I actually have to make a 180 and completely agree with him this time around. I'm on his side fully. I don't think the way he was treated this episode was fair, and I also don't think that the argument that he presented was flawed. So we're going to get right into it. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all make sure to subscribe and like the video.
Is it a star player's responsibility to be the team leader?
You would like, as a team, as a coach, as an organization, for your best player to be the vocal leader and the example leader, but it doesn't always happen like that, right? It just doesn't. Sometimes your most talented player is just your most talented player, and there's a player on there that engages him to make him be accountable for games that's up and down. So it's not always the best player on the court.
Yeah.
No, he's not. By what?
By history.
History?
Yes.
So then Jordan's the best player was always the best player on his teams then, right? Was he the best player when he was with the Wizards? No.
What? What basketball games are you watching?
I'm just saying, there's.
What are you talking about?
If you're not in your prime and you're not the best player on the team, then you can't be
History will prove that you are.
No.
Yes, it is.
Then that doesn't make any sense.
It don't gotta make sense when we enter in the locker room. Listen.
If someone's on
here's
the
the
bench,
difference.
if someone's on the bench,
when you've played
anything.
when you've played at this level.
Oh, so when you played at this level.
When you played at this level.
Okay, so I can't.
There is an understanding.
Okay, so I don't have
of who the leaders are, who the vocalists are, who the best players are.
I played a professional
basketball. So when the best players are not talking.
I played professional basketball.
When the best players are not talking, you still know who the best player is. When he comes over and he says, hey, give me the motherfucking ball. Move the fuck out the way. Got it. But then you got the vocalists who may not play as much, like
still a leader.
Calvin Booth or Greg Buckner, which I'm talking about my team. Guys who on the bench talking, vocalizing.
That's still.
We know he's just being the vocal guy. He's not the leader of the team.
I didn't say the leader of the team. I said he is a leader. There's more than one leader.
We're not talking about a leader. We're talking about the leader.
There's more than one leader. There's more than one way to lead your team.
Real quick, I gotta jump in right here. So it seems like Rashad is trying to establish the basis of his argument, and he keeps getting interrupted. So what he's trying to say is that the leader of the team is the best player, right? And I 100% agree with that statement. You're the leader of the team when it comes to how we play, what we're gonna do. We're playing through you. So you're leading us whether you want to or not. We're gonna go only as far as you take us because you're the leader. But she tries to make the assertion that there's more than one leader, which nobody's disagreeing with, but Rashad is talking about the leader. And the leader is the best player on the team. We understand that there's vocal guys, there's guys that want to speak up, there's guys that, understand that their role isn't necessarily to be the best player, but to be a good role player and to try and facilitate a more cohesive unit, but not necessarily to be the leader, right? All of these guys are talented, but they know when to fall back because somebody's more talented than they are. So this interview actually takes a nasty turn, and you saw a little bit of a hint of it when he said, when you've played at this level. And she kind of responded by saying she's played professionally. I'm not a sexist guy. I'm not a guy who likes to say that men are better than women, but we can all agree that the WNBA and female basketball in general just isn't entertaining. It's not as good of a sport as the NBA is, and it's a completely different sport entirely. It's not the same sport, right? So when you have a league of women where maybe only 2 or 3 of them can actually dunk a ball, as opposed to the NBA where, I mean, pretty much everybody can dunk. It's just not something that everybody practices or adds to their arsenal, right? But I'm sure 85% of the NBA can dunk the ball if they chose to. But that's besides the point. We're talking about leaders and who's not the leader. And I think Rashad Mccants is right on this situation. But let's keep going, because this definitely does get a little bit more interesting.
Like, why is that even a debate?
It's not.
It is. You're debating it.
No, you're debating.
You are.
I know what it is.
I know what it is.
How?
And your opinion is not higher value than mine.
Why is it not?
Because I'm giving examples.
No, I played.
I played too.
Where?
Overseas.
Okay, so we're not talking about overseas basketball right now. We're talking about NBA basketball.
We're talking about basketball.
We're talking about the
We're talking
National
about
Basketball
actual
Association.
Basketball. You're not going to use that. You're not going to use just because you was in the
What you
NBA.
mean?
That means your opinion.
That's what we're talking about.
Just because you play
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion.
You do.
This is a fact.
This is an opinion.
Because I played.
And just because you played in the NBA,
fans have an opinion. Miko,
we played the same amount of years.
We didn't play the same amount of anything.
Yes, we did.
You have an opinion because you've never done it.
Yes, we did. Yes, I have.
I have a perspective.
I've actually been the leader.
No,
I've actually been the highest scorer on my team. Multiple years. Multiple. Have you?
Huh? I've won.
Have you won in the pros?
I don't have to.
So exactly, because you wasn't the leader.
What?
You wasn't.
What does that have to do
You
with?
wasn't able to do what I did.
What did you do?
You wasn't able to do what I did.
What did you do?
I had more points than you. I was the lead. I led my teams.
You had more
as a pro, yes.
As a pro?
I was the star on my teams.
What WNBA play? What WNBA team did you play on?
I played on as a professional.
What
I was the leading scorer.
Where did you go to college?
Cal State LA.
Where?
Yes, Cal State LA.
Where's that?
Here in LA.
What is that?
It's a Division II school.
Okay. Division II. What WNBA team did you play for?
None.
Okay. So you're comparing your opinion to my perspective.
I'm comparing my perspective.
Your opinion.
My perspective.
You're comparing your opinion.
Basketball.
You're talking about your opinion on the game.
Professional basketball.
Where?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
Why? Why does it matter?
Because the pros are the pros.
The pros are the pros, yes.
So you never played in the pros.
I did.
Where? You never played in the WNBA.
So what? There's a lot of people that didn't play in the WNBA that were great.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of players that didn't play in the WNBA.
But you're trying to tell me I'm wrong.
So like I told y'all, this video got interesting very fast. It went from 0 to 100. Now, it's clear that she took some offense to Rashad trying to somewhat diminish her opinions because she didn't play in the NBA. Well, I mean, unfortunately, she doesn't have a male appendage that would allow her to play in the NBA, right? Now, listen, I mean, the NBA is not a sexist league. If you're a good enough girl, you can actually play in the NBA. A while ago, a female actually did get drafted by the NBA. She just never played because, I mean, the skill gap is just there. The physicality is not there for a woman, right? We may see a day, right, in the future, soon enough, where a female is good enough to grace the court. But she's not going to be Ja Morant. She's not going to be in the position that they're debating about right now. She won't be the leader of that team, right? It's just not likely. And then the second point where he tries to, kind of assert some sort of authority because he has actually played in the NBA, she shoots that down by saying he was never the best player on his team. But what's crazy is she just said that the best player on the team isn't necessarily the leader. So what relevance does that have to the actual conversation? I mean, she's almost thwarting her point entirely by bringing that up. Now, I do appreciate Gil and Josiah, which is the light-skinned guy sitting next to Gilbert Arenas. I do appreciate them staying out of it and letting them to just get this out, because this is clearly something that's been building up and boiling over for a while, and I'm glad that they're actually getting this off their chest. Now, Rashad said, one more thing I want to say before we get back into this video. So Rashad said he's not going to compare his perspective to her opinion, which we see that all the time. People are always saying this. People say this about Stephen A. Smith all the time, who I will make a video about pretty soon. Just give me a couple of days, because I've been waiting to talk about that guy. But people say this about guys in the old media, Stephen A., Skip Bayless. They were never players. So it's an opinion compared to a perspective, and it truly is.
Other guys, some guys can't handle that. They can't deal with that. So playing with a guy like KG, how long did it take you, or take you for him to earn your respect and just that respect of the team? Was it instant walking in there, you knew right away, this is Tickett's team, and we're gonna do whatever the fuck he says?
1,000%. Because I was a leader on my team when we won the championship. So I knew exactly what it was to follow a leader. He was the best player. The best player don't gotta be vocal. He led by example in all the practices, the energy he brought, attention to detail, like you said, being the smartest player, knowing the schemes, knowing the operation of the whole organization, but not having to actually go and say all this shit and waste energy on, telling guys what to do. Follow my lead, fall in line, be the guy, right? And he taught me all of the steps it took to be the leader on that level. So when he left, I became the team captain, and I was next to Al Jefferson, who came in as our best player, but he wasn't the vocal guy, right? So he led by example, and it was up to me to be the vocal guy. So it was definitely that transfer of power, understanding how to play second tier, but also how to be the leader when you're out there on the floor and lead by example. You know what I'm saying, and that's something that KG always exhibited, and that's why when he went to Boston, I still believe it was still Paul Pierce being the leader, but he fell in line as the number 2 being the vocal.
Really?
Because he knew how to vocalize and be the anchor on the defensive end. And it didn't necessarily say that he was the leader of the team, he was the leader of the defense. He led the most important aspect of the Boston Celtics.
Do you think Kevin Garnett would agree with you that a guy on the bench can't be a leader?
Nobody has to agree with anything.
I'm asking you a question.
I just answered it. Nobody has to agree with anything.
I said, do you think, Kevin Garnett,
No one has
right?
to agree with anything.
Way to lead and not be the star player. There's also a way to lead, not to lead and be the star player. There's multiple people that can be leaders, and it doesn't always have to do with the talent.
Yeah, okay, so like Allen Iverson, right? Eric Snow was the leader of the team.
Thank you. Thank you.
I talked to AI.
+3, Miko.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know if that's
I'm
your
sure
point. I was eating chips.
That is my point.
Oh,
You just proved it, and it's okay. We can keep it moving. I know I was right when I said it, and we can move on now.
So even though Allen Iverson agreed that Eric Snow was the leader of that team, I'm going to have to disagree with Allen Iverson. And I think Allen Iverson was the leader of those teams. I think that whenever the game was on the line, or whenever there was a tough challenge presented in the middle of the game, Allen Iverson was the leader. Now, there's a difference in between being that leader on the court and a leader in the locker room, which is why I do agree with Miko's point that there can be more than one leader, but the leader is the best player. And that's just how it is. Now, what does that mean? To me, the leader means that we're only going to go as far as you take us, right? That vocal guy, that 11th, 10th man on the bench that's very vocal but isn't that talented, we're not going as far as he takes us. He can't take us anywhere. Udonis Haslem is probably one of the best vocal leaders of all time, but Jimmy Butler has been the leader of that Miami Heat team for the past half of a decade. And to act like it's anybody other than that is outrageous, it's crazy, and it's blasphemous. So I, once again, agree with Mccants' take, but I see where both of them are coming from. They just need to dissolve the hostility that lies in between the two of them, because this seems like something that they've been both wanting to get off their chest and argue about for a long time. Maybe not argue about this specifically, but they look like and seem like they've been wanting to argue with each other for a long time, and they're finally getting it out. But let's continue with the video.
Tell someone to do something, no.
They're going to do what?
They're going to follow my lead on how I played.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, I'm not the leader.
Can I say something?
Sure.
The leader doesn't choose whether he's the leader or not.
We know that.
So, regardless of how you feel about leading or being the leader, you were the leader.
He was a leader.
You were the leader.
A
I
leader.
wasn't even a captain.
You were the leader.
A leader.
It's not about captains. It's not about none of that. Like you're the
Yes, it is.
you're the
is
face
about
of the
that.
franchise. It goes as you go.
But that's not considered a leader.
Thank you.
To you.
To,
you.
to the world.
To you.
To anyone.
To the world.
No, because we can only speak from our own perspectives, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I disagree that the leader does not pick whether they're the leader or not.
Nobody said that.
So Eric Snow, people saying him being the leader, even AI saying Eric was the leader, the team went as Allen Iverson went. The team goes as the best player goes. They lead by example. And if you don't carry the team, the team cannot go.
But who's the best player following?
It's not even about that.
It is.
No, it's not.
Because if you're looking at Allen Iverson as the leader, you're following Allen Iverson, but Allen Iverson's listening to Eric Snow, then Eric Snow is actually the leader. You're just not
We're
looking
not
at
talking about listening or vocalizing anything, Gilbert. I'm talking about leading by example. You showing up your work ethic.
You're just talking about the best player.
No, I'm talking about your work ethic.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about everything you put into the game has everything to do with leading by example. You don't have to say anything.
Well, then that contradicts everything you said about Kevin Durant.
Thank you.
What did I say about Kevin Durant?
We
asked the question.
When I was saying Kevin Durant wasn't a leader, but he's the hardest.
We never said he wasn't the leader, bro.
You did. You said
we asked, who has he made better?
Oh God.
What I'm saying is, I work out 3 times a day. No one else did.
Bro,
so they wasn't following me.
So listen, that's not, you're moving the
So wait, hold on. You've been in the NBA, right? We've been in the NBA, right? So if your best player, like let's say Kobe, right? We'll take this Laker team. He's the best player. He leads by example. But if none of the kids are following him, right? They're not following him. They're clubbing every night because they're following someone else who's at the club, who's at the strip club every single night. Who is technically the leader of that pack?
Gosh, bro, how does that not make him the leader?
Because no one's following him. No one's listening to him.
So does that make
They don't even want him on the team anymore.
So do we win without Kobe Bryant?
It don't matter. If no one's following him, is he... By your theory, if no one's...
By my theory, if I've already spoke on this, if you're not following me as a leader, get they ass out of here and get me in guys who are gonna follow our lead.
You just.
But then,
that's what happened.
But then you're not. You're not a leader. If you have a crew that's there and they're not following
that
you,
means they don't want to win.
No, they just.
Okay, so I'm gonna end this video here, and I'm gonna address what they said. So, firstly, I want to address what they said about Kobe. They said that Kobe, if he didn't have guys that were following his lead, that makes him not a leader. Gilbert, that's a terrible point, because by you saying that, you're making the assumption and the assertion that just because we have guys who are incapable of playing up to the standard of Kobe Bryant, that Kobe is now no longer the leader, and that someone like Nick Young is the leader. If Nick Young wants to go to a club and Jeremy Lin wants to follow him to the club, that makes Nick Young the leader. That does not make Nick Young the leader. That just means that there's 2 guys on the team who aren't following the lead of the leader on the team. Now, let's use that same analogy, right? But let's change the positions a little bit. Let's say it's coaches, and a coach is a leader on the team. Not the leader, but stay with me. So if I have a coach and that coach has several players on the team who do not want to follow his lead, that does not mean that the coach is necessarily a bad coach. It just means that the players do not want to follow the coach's vision. The vision may not align with the players. The players may think that what the coach has to offer isn't, legit, isn't useful. And by that metric, you cannot say that that coach is a bad coach or a bad leader. That just means that the players that he got don't want to follow him. They don't want to listen to him. And, sometimes there's just nothing you can do about that.
want to follow
They
you.
just want to follow you. You're not.
So, but
yeah.
if we're winning when people are following me, what does that say?
Wait, hold on. So
What if that's not good enough?
What I'm
too?
saying, what I'm saying, if you have two men,
Yes.
right here, and one has championship and one knows how to talk to his team, right? And you say, all right, 12 men follow the one you want to follow. And everyone follows the dude who knows how to talk to them, and they don't follow the one with 4 championships. Who's actually the leader of that group?
So if Kobe won 3 championships, right? And then he comes in, he wants to win 2 more with the team that he has. They have a decision to make. They can follow him because he's led by example. He's won. He's won championships. So these guys that are coming in have 2 options. Follow me or don't follow me. But if you don't follow me, we will not win because I need my other guys on this floor. I'm the leader. I'm the leader.
But you're calling yourself a leader, but no one's following you. So
How are you a leader?
So how are we gonna win?
It don't
You're changing the question.
I'm not.
You're changing. You're saying
it's not about how am I the leader if they're decided.
Then everyone's a leader.
Yes.
In your theory.
Then.
Hold on. That means everyone's a theory. That means if I have a group and I say I'm the leader, I'm the captain of this team.